test shot, I might need to adjust a bit the setting. 3, 2, 1. In this video it's all about off-camera flash, and we're using a 100-pound single speed light and a shoot-through umbrella, and I'm going to talk you through how you can take great images only using budget-friendly options. We're also shooting on a Fujifilm X-T3 and using a kit lens as well. So if the kit lens is all you got, don't worry, I'm going to show you how it's done. So the reason why you want to use a speed light for your off-flash portraits or when shooting portraits in general is you want to add a bit of light to your exposure triangle. So basically what you want to do is you want to fill out your shadows. So we're going to basically take a test shot now, exposing for our ambient light, and our settings at present are ISO 400, 160 of a second at an aperture of f4. Then we're taking a test shot. Oh, we got the flash on already. Let's take a flash off. We want to expose for the overall scene. We want to make sure that everything is nicely exposed. Probably the easiest way to start with half a power of your flash. Your flash usually rates from full power up to 1/28th power. So if you start off somewhere around 132, 1/64th of a power, and then you make your way up, then you get a good understanding of how much your light needs on power or how little your light needs on power. If we're taking another shot, same settings, 160th of a second, f4, ISO 400, and the flash is set to 64th of a power. And as you can see, we definitely can bump up the speed light a bit more, give the model a bit more pop, fill in the shadows a bit more. So we bumped up the speed light now to 1/32th of a power, taking another shot, same settings, and as you can see, we still can bump up the speed light, give it more power and make a model a bit more pop. But also you would have the option, if your speed light would not have enough power, to move the umbrella with the speed light closer to the model. So let's try it again, and we bump up the speed light to 1/8th of a power. Same settings again, and take another shot. And here we go. Now you actually can see that our model gets brighter and brighter within the image, and she pops more away from a background, if this makes sense. One simple tip is also always try to keep your model the same distance from your speed light to keep the exposure you measured for. If a model comes closer to the speed light will get more power and will probably overexpose your model in a phase. So always try to keep the same distance from a speed light to the model. Or if you change scenery and you change the settings or you change the distance to the light, you need to do a few test shots again and find the right balance. Sorry to interrupt the video. However, there are two things we might need to clarify when we're talking about having the light or the speed light and the modifier at the same distance away from a model or at a certain distance away from a model. Keeping in mind in our video right now, we had our speed light plus modifier quite far away from a model. Therefore, we needed a fairly high power output from a speed light to expose our model properly. But also because we've been this far away from a model, we had a lot of light spill which fell into the background and exposed somewhat our background as well. So keeping in mind, as closer you get your speed light and your umbrella to the model, as less power you need from a speed light to expose your model, you're going to control your light spill better, and you're going to keep your background also more controlled and darker if this is what you're looking for. So keep this in mind. You might need to figure this out, what the right distance is from a speed light to the model. As closer the speed light and the umbrella to the model is, as more controlled your light is, as less light power you need, and overall you get softer light as well. So with that said, let's jump back into the video. So now after we're actually quite happy with the image itself, we're going to take a few more shots, pose the model a bit and go from there. So let's do a up close again, because now the lighting is actually pretty good. And then actually use your left hand, play a bit with your hair as well, at the bottom, at the tips. Okay. Let's do a landscape image as well, because I like to forget about this all the time. So let's do a little recap here. So basically we start off with taking your overall exposure for the scene. In our case, we said we're shooting on ISO 400, f4, 160ths of a second, which gives us a nice overall image exposure for the scene. And now we basically want to fill in the shadows, the midtones, where our model is based. So now we're adding our flush to it. We said earlier that we need 1/8 of a power for the scene to expose our model nicely into the scene, which works absolutely fine. However, because we're working without a light meter, and also because you're just starting out, start with 50% power of your flash, and then you can see on your histogram if you need a bit more light, if you need a bit less light. And yeah, so start off with 50% of your speedlight power, dial it in, take a test shot, see how it works. Do you need more light? Is your model still a bit underexposed? Then add a bit more light to it. And I think we're gonna change slightly the location in a minute. In our case, we used a simple speedlight, the Godox TT685 version 2 for Fujifilm, and we also used the matching X Pro F trigger. Make sure when you're buying your speedlight or a speedlight in general that this speedlight is matching towards your camera brand you use. Also, definitely a good point or a thing to pay attention to is that your speedlight is capable of shooting high speed thing as well, so you can go over your limit of speed flush sync from your camera as well. So definitely two things to pay attention to. Make sure you buy the right speedlight which is compatible with your brand, and also the right trigger that you can trigger your speedlight off camera or off camera flush. Then also you probably want to get a bracket. I got one of those Bowen mounts brackets where you basically can put your speedlight in, but also could mount a Godox Bowen mount light modifier later if you decide the umbrella is not enough anymore. So you could add any sort of light modifier to this bracket as well. Your light stand, get a good decent light stand. You get them for around 20-25 quid already, and sometimes it's definitely recommended to have some sandbags to heavy down your light stand, so your light stand won't fall over and the hazelnuts flying around here and there's no tomorrow anymore. So that's all you need: a camera, a trigger, a cheap speedlight, and you get fantastic images out of it. So if you liked this video today, guys, let me know in the comments, let me know what you think, and if you would like to see more stuff like this. And with that said, I'm gonna see you in the next one. See you later.
Well, yeah,
So-
because that...
Whoever is watching this, can I get the assistant, please? Thank you.